Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Declan, and if you enjoy talking about movies in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. In today's video I'm going to be doing my April Blu-ray haul. Obviously for the month of April we have all been trapped indoors, or at least I hope you have. And you know, seeing as I have been trapped indoors with nothing to do, I have actually just been spending most of my time, way too much time in fact, just looking at Blu-rays on Amazon and eBay and just ordering things because they'll just bring it to me. So I do actually have a collection, even though I've not been outside. So, as always, I'm just going to sit back and relax and just chill out, talk about these movies with you guys, and let's just go through the collection. So, first of all, these first handful of movies here are all from the same studio. I bought them because I've been trying to build up my collection with them a little bit, as I didn't really own any of them, I don't think. Well, I owned one trilogy out of these movies. You'll see what I mean when you see them, but I didn't really own much of it, so I wanted to actually build up on that collection a little bit because they're quite personal to me, and I did grow up with most of these movies here, so I wanted to I felt like I needed them in the collection. I felt like they were necessary. So I picked up, first of all, we have the Shrek Collection, Shrek 1 to 4. Yeah, I mean, they're absolute legendary kids movies. I grew up with these, especially the first three in particular. I love all of them. Well, to be fair, the fourth one I haven't seen ever since it came out in cinemas, but even as a kid I wasn't a fan. So I don't know what that really says about the movie, but I'll definitely give it a rewatch, because again, it's been a long time, so I kind of want to watch it again, see how I feel about it now. It might have just been because when I watched it in the cinema, I was actually in the very front row and my neck was like that, so that might have really hilted the experience, but here with this, I'm excited to own these movies. It was quite expensive. I probably could have waited for the price to come down, to be honest, but again, I was in a generous mood. But I'm excited to watch these again. I love these movies and have them on Blu-ray now, especially Shrek 2, so I can watch the Holding Out for a Hero scene anytime that I want. It's pretty god tier. Next up, we have a movie that is generally considered one of, if not the worst, DreamWorks animation movie. That's the theme here, if you didn't notice. Monsters vs. Aliens. This is not a liked one. People do not like this movie. They think it's silly and just not very good. And while I can't exactly say that the movie is good, because it's not, it's a pretty low tier kids movie, I still enjoy the hell out of it. Again, I grew up with this movie, I watched it loads as a kid, so to own it on Blu-ray is actually really nice. I actually rewatched this last week, and I still love it now. I still had a blast with it. I thought it was great fun. I love the cast. Like, this is actually like my first introduction to Seth Rogen was in this movie with Bob. That's where I first saw him, but we also got Will Arnett and Hugh Laurie, Reese Witherspoon. Really good cast, and I just really enjoyed it overall. I think it's really funny. It's a great concept as well. You know, Alien. This is DreamWorks' like alien invasion movie, but it also plays on the themes of monster movies like Godzilla and things like that. There's a lot of sort of embolism with that in the movie. So yeah, it's not exactly one of DreamWorks' best, but I do enjoy it, and I still enjoy it now apparently. Another one which I actually think this is maybe one of DreamWorks' most underrated, just behind Flushed Away, which I think Flushed Away is their most underrated film. I don't think anyone talks about this, but no one talks about this movie either. Megamind, which is still in the wrapping, but Megamind is obviously DreamWorks' superhero movie, and I thought this was really good. Like, I remember watching this as a kid and actually thinking that was really good, and I'm yet to rewatch it like as an adult, but I always really liked this one. Actually, I just thought it was actually really good. It's got light. But can I turn this off? Is that better? Is that better? Let me see. I think that looks better. So anyway, I really like this one, and I think it's got a really good cast. I mean, this is like peak early 2000s comedy cast. I mean, it's, you know, Will Ferrell and Tina Fey, Jonah Hill, and then you've also got Brad Pitt as well as Metro Man. So it's a really good cast overall, really fun. Obviously, this is like a play on the superhero genre. It's got a supervillain story instead, more of like an anti-hero type thing. And it's just really fun, and I genuinely find it hilarious, especially because this was when Will Ferrell was really peaking in his comedy career, as this was like really him kicking out. This was like Anchorman days and stuff like that, which even though I've not seen the Anchorman movies, that was when Will Ferrell was kind of almost at his peak. And this movie was kind of at that time. So I think this movie works really well from a comedy perspective. And again, it's really fun. The animation's really nice. And, you know, even though I'm yet to rewatch it, I just have very, very fond memories of it. So I'm excited to give it another go. And the final DreamWorks sort of collection we have here, we have another trilogy, which is the Madagascar Collection, Madagascar 1 to 3. I grew up with the first two, and I watched the third one on Netflix a couple years ago. And I think all three of them are great. I think all three of them are awesome. Like, I didn't expect to like the third one, but I actually did. But for me, my favourite is probably the first one, and then the second one, and then the third one. but I really enjoy these movies. Again, I love the cast, particularly obviously I'm a big Ben Stiller fan, so got Ben Stiller in this movie is great. And David Schwimmer as Melman is also great. I just really love this. The penguins are incredible characters. I still need to see the penguins in Madagascar movie as well. I've not seen that yet. I used to love the show, but I've never seen the movie. But really good trilogy. I've been wanting to get this for ages. I got this super cheap as well. £5 I got this on Amazon. It might still be that price now, so if you're in the UK, check on Amazon for this if you're after it. But really solid trilogy. Again, really close to my heart. Really big childhood movies here, and I'm glad to have them. And for a £5, you can't go wrong. Next movie, I watched this very recently. I think I watched this just before the lockdown happened, so I knew I had to get it on Blu-ray eventually. Good Time. This is, of course, directed by the Safdie brothers, starring Robert Pattinson. I was super impressed with this movie, loved it. This was my first kind of, interaction with the Safdie brothers, and I have watched Uncut Gems since then. There is a review on the channel, you can check that out. And while I do prefer Uncut Gems to this movie, I still think this is really good, really strong, and just Robert Pattinson, amazing in this. I mean, I saw recently in The Lighthouse how incredible he could be. This movie further cements that. Benny Safdie in the movie was also really impressive. Just the colours are out of this world. The story's great. I loved the score. Like, the score was easily this highlight of the movie for me. Just a really entertaining, really visceral movie, and I really had a great time with it. And again, it's a great pairing with Uncut Gems as well. I wish Uncut Gems got a Blu-ray here in the UK. I know out in the US it got one, but I really wish it got one here because it kind of deserves it, really. It's such a good movie, and it would go great with this, but I'm happy to own this as well. Obviously, it's an Artificial Eye movie, and yeah, I think it's a really great one to have in the collection, so that's there. Now, this one, the reason why this haul video is a few days late is because I was waiting for this movie to arrive, and it only arrived today, like literally like half an hour ago, and this is a bit of a confession time because I actually didn't review this movie when it came out. And I think I did it to kind of escape the potentially negative connotations that came with it, but Charlie's Angels. I loved this movie. I thought it was so much fun. I thought it was a blast. I mean, is it good? No. But it's a great time, and it was so well intentioned. You could just tell by watching it that the people making it just wanted to have a good time with it, and it's got such a strong cast. I love the cast, like Kristen Stewart and Ella Balinska, who was kind of a newcomer. She was really great in this. Naomi Scott, who I absolutely adore from Power Rangers and Aladdin, and even back in the day, Lemonade Mouth on the Disney Channel. I just love this movie. It was so much fun. Like, the cast is just having so much, they have such good chemistry in the movie. They're clearly having a great time making it. I think Elizabeth Banks directing it, again, she clearly knew what she wanted to do with this movie in regards to just making it a feel-good, fun, female spy action thriller. And, well, thriller is probably the wrong word, but still, really fun spy action movie, female-led. And I just had a blast with it. Like, I think, people who criticize this movie, people who are saying it's not very good, yeah, they're not wrong, but at the same time, I think this movie, it's just one of them that it's there to be enjoyed and just to have a good time with it. And I think if you're going into this movie expecting it to be, as good as some of the other big action franchises out there, then you're kidding yourself. I think that this movie was never intended to be that, and I think that is why this movie genuinely surprised me. I went into it expecting to enjoy it. I didn't expect to love it. I didn't expect to purely love this movie. I wish I would have seen it twice in cinemas, but at least I now have the Blu-ray, and it has got a really nice host of special features as well, so that's nice to see. So a really, really nice addition. I'm glad I have this now. Shame it didn't get a slipcover, but that's a recurring theme with this next movie as well. Next up, we have the 4K Ultra HD of The Gentleman. Easily one of my favourite movies of this year. This was also a surprise for me. Again, I thought I'd like it. I didn't think I'd love it. Because Guy Ritchie is a very hit or miss director with me with the movies I've seen, because he can go from making like The Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I really liked, to then making King Arthur, which I did not like, to then making Aladdin, which I loved. Like, I love the remake of Aladdin, everyone knows that. And then he went into making this movie, which I thought it was going to be good. I liked the trailers. I didn't expect to love it. This didn't get a slipcover here in the UK. I know it did in the US. I'm very jealous. But this movie, again, the cast is phenomenal. Particularly Hugh Grant is a real standout. Charlie Hunnam was really good in this. I really liked Matthew McConaughey, of course. Colin Farrell was really great here. Henry Golding, who I'm a big fan of. Just a really fun, entertaining, proper British, movie, gangster style. And I just think that this film just has so much going for it. Again, I think this movie could have been so much more generic than it was, but it ended up actually just taking all the best elements that this movie could have had and just really unleashing the fun with it. And again, when I came out of this movie, I remember me and my friend who I was with, we were just like, we want to own that on Blu-ray right now. Like, we want that right now because we want to rewatch it instantly. Because it's just so rewatchable. So rewatchable. Michelle Dockery as well, awesome, who I'm also watching in Defending Jacob right now. I'm just like opening up the world to Michelle Dockery, or opening my world to Michelle Dockery. Just a really great movie. I'm really glad this came out. This came out really quick as well, so I'm really glad to see that. Again, would have been nice to get a slipcover, but what can we do? Next one, another controversial take from me coming up here. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker 4K Ultra HD. I rewatched this recently on May the 4th on Star Wars Day, and I still love it. I still love this movie. If you hate this movie, I completely get it. I completely understand why people hate The Rise of Skywalker. As, you know, the final movie in the Skywalker saga, I understand why people hate it. If you have your criticisms, I completely get them. Like, I've listened to so many Star Wars, you know, Episode 9 rants and, you know, videos like that, and I've listened to every complaint and every little thing people have to say about this movie, and to be honest, I can't disagree with any of it. I completely get it. However, me personally, even while I agree with some of the negatives that people have for this film, I still love it. I think it's so fun. I think it's such a satisfying conclusion to the Skywalker saga. I had a great time with it. I watched it 3 times in the cinema, and this was my 4th viewing this week. I just really enjoy it. Like, I think it's got so much fun behind it. And yeah, it's not a great movie. It's messy. I think it has got, as a Star Wars fan, it's got a few things I don't really like about it that I don't particularly agree with, that I wouldn't have done if I was making the movie. But I still think I'm taking it at face value. You know, I'm taking the movie that we got, and I still enjoyed it. Like, I can't hide the fact that I had a great time with it, and I think it's one of the most fun Star Wars movies. I keep using the word fun a lot in this video, but that is a lot. That is how I describe a lot of the movies I've got here at the moment. I just think the cast are doing a great job. Of course, I love Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, one of my favorite Star Wars characters. I loved his arc in this movie, even though it does kind of go against, you know, what they were doing with The Last Jedi. I actually kind of like the fact it went in the opposite direction of him actually turning good by the end. Rey, what they did with her, amazing stuff. I had a blast with it. I really like this movie. And, you know, I can't defend it necessarily. If you hate it, again, I understand. I completely get it. And again, for most of it, I kind of agree why people hate it, but I still enjoy it. And I'm very happy to own it. And again, I watched it recently, still loved it. And the 4K looks great. The 4K transfer looks fantastic, as most Disney Blu-rays do. And then finally, we have a couple of steelbooks here. First of all, we have the steelbook for Cars. Now, another hot take here. This is my favorite Pixar movie, but I mean, there is a story that goes with this. I mean, I've probably mentioned this before, but Cars was the movie that I grew up with. Like, this was my main childhood movie. Like, I was talking about the DreamWorks movies before, but this was like my childhood movie. This is what I grew up with. I watched this movie hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times as a kid. So like, I literally adore this movie. So I had to get the steelbook. I love this steelbook because I love this poster here. I think it's really, really nice. There's the spine. And the thing that really stands out to me is the back. I love the back of this. I love it so much because this is actually the first poster I ever saw of this film. I remember when I was a little kid, I remember I think I was at a friend's birthday party or something like that. And I was in this sort of like play center place. I was only about 5. And I saw this poster on the wall. And that was my first kind of sort of recognition of Cars as a movie, as something coming out, and I remember keeping an eye on it. And then they started releasing all the toys and McDonald's and things like that, and that's when I was like, okay, I need to see this. And what's funny is that I actually hated the cinema as a kid. I hated it. I was scared of the cinema, actually. I didn't like the darkness, I didn't like the trailers or anything like that. I found it quite a scary experience. But I begged my parents to take me to watch Cars because I just really wanted to see it. And, you know, that's kind of like, that's my journey with Cars. And, you know, as someone who hated the cinema as a kid, which is ironic, I really wanted to see this movie, and it just had a very special place in my heart. And there is actually more to come with this as well, because there is a Cars 2 steelbook, which I ordered at the exact same time. I don't know where it is. I think it's been lost in transit. I need to follow up on it, because I don't know where it is. So I will hopefully get that at some point. It'll hopefully get here, and you'll maybe see it in a whole video soon. But I love this steelbook. I love it. Again, it's mainly the back. That back is really, really nice to me. Just gonna get it. It's kind of special, so love this steelbook. And I love the movie. And the final steelbook, which this was gifted to me yesterday. This was actually gifted to me a while ago, but because of the lockdown, I wasn't able to get it until yesterday. But this is again, this is one of my favorite movies of 2019. I think it was my number 6 on my top 10 of last year. But this is easily one of the most unique and thematic steelbooks for this movie that I've seen. Knives Out. I love this. I mean, obviously, as you can see, it's basically like a book, like one of Harlan Thrombey's books. Really, really nice style. It just looks, you know, because it has this kind of rustic kind of feeling on it. It's a matte finish all the way through. It's not shiny or glossy. I love this. This is just, and there's the back as well. It has a beautiful back as well. Obviously, there's the Thrombey house. Just awesome steelbook. And this is such a great poster as well. The entire cast there. One of the best ensembles of 2019. Just a really great story, great thriller mystery, great performances throughout, particularly Daniel Craig, Ana de Armas, Chris Evans, Don Johnson, Jamie Lee Curtis, Toni Collette. It goes on and on and on and on. But I adored this movie. It was so much fun. I watched it twice in cinemas when it was out. I just think it's such a fun story, and you know, murder mysteries are always a good time, and sometimes they can not follow through, and sometimes they can be very disappointing by the end. This movie's not that. This movie completely just keeps it going, and it had me enthralled from beginning to end, and this steelbook is just exactly what this movie deserves. It's such high quality, and again, it just fits the movie so well. Obviously, Harlan Thrombey being a writer, to give it this kind of book aesthetic is definitely what this movie deserves. So I really love this steelbook, and I'm so happy to own it. I keep just looking at it and just feeling it because it's just beautiful. But I love this steelbook, and I can't wait to rewatch this, because this is the 4K as well, so I can't wait to see how this actually looks on 4K. So that is everything, guys. That is everything I bought in the month of April. This is my Blu-ray haul. What did you guys get? Make sure to let me know yours, what you got in the comments down below in the month of April. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts, and also your thoughts on whatever I got as well. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.